What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Baddog back with a New York Giants video. Really haven't been doing a lot of Giants videos lately, just not a lot to talk about. We all sit here, we're anticipating the draft. I'm going to talk about some of these players as far as the Giants go. Of course, the draft is tomorrow night, and I cannot wait, man. I'm sure every NFL fan out there is excited. I always say this is NFL's version of Christmas. Everybody's waiting to see what shiny new toy that they get under the tree. I'm very interested to see exactly what the New York Giants are going to do. Not just the New York Giants, but obviously the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, barring any trades, the Cowboys pick 10th, the Giants pick 11th, the Eagles pick 12th. It'll be very interesting to see how these guys go. And you never know, Washington may trade up somewhere in that area as well. So it's always going to be interesting. I will be live with Philly 500 tonight about 10:30. Definitely plan on doing that. We're going to talk about the draft, and this should be fun, man. I always love collabing with Philly 500. And, obviously he's an Eagles fan. We'll get his thoughts on what he thinks the Eagles are going to do, if they're going to trade up, if he has a player in mind. And obviously, take all your questions and comments in the chat, so it should be fun. This has been one of the most interesting seasons as far as, the draft goes, because the New York Giants addressed a lot of their shortcomings in free agency. And normally the Giants, at least the past few years, we've been picking top six. We pick second, we pick sixth, we pick fourth, 3 straight years. So pretty much when you're picking that high, it's really just one or two guys, maybe three guys. There's really not a ton, because when you're picking that high, you really have somebody that you have in mind. There's a position that you really need to fill. The Giants do have plenty of holes, and there's definitely a lot of positions that we could use help at. There's edge. There's definitely a linebacker in Micah Parsons. We could definitely use another wide receiver. Some people don't want a cornerback, but cornerback depth could certainly help the New York Giants. We saw what happened last year with the whole DeAndre Baker thing, and what we were left with Isaac Yiadom over there at cornerback didn't help. Adoree Jackson's a big signing, but again, he played 2 games last year, so you definitely want that corner depth, because if he goes down, you're going to play Darnay Holmes over there, you're going to play Julian Love over there, so it'll be really interesting. The Giants have talked about 5 guys that they really like. Micah Parsons is one, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, they're in the mix. I've heard rumors about J.C. Horn, and of course, Rashawn Slater. Now, I'm going to ask you Giants fans, you can tell me in the chat, and I want to know, let me know in the chat. Who do you want at number 11? Because this is why it's been so difficult. This is why I really only did the one mock draft. It's just, there's so many options. And it's why it's just like, this can get watered down at a certain point. There's so many things, so many directions that the New York Giants can go. And as I've said before, it's kind of like foreplay. Foreplay is great, man, but it's time to get to it. You know what I mean? And I'm ready for the damn draft. But again, I could definitely use Micah Parsons on my team. Right? Micah Parsons, to me, makes this defense elite. This defense is really good. The Giants can't forget about that. Just because the defense had a good year last year doesn't mean that you can sit there and completely ignore it this year. We did that in 2017. We made that mistake in 2017. We did not draft well as far as defensive players go. The Giants are pretty much set. They felt like they spent all that money, on the defense, and they had a really good year in 2016. And I've always said that 2016 was an aberration. It was misconstrued. We played a really weak schedule, and we won a lot of these games. We won pretty much every game, I think, by a touchdown or less. Maybe might have been beat the winless Cleveland Browns by 10. Of course, an interception by JPP scored a touchdown in that game. The offense wasn't great in 2016. The defense was. And again, maybe they got a little bit full of themselves, and 2017 was an absolute disaster and caused a lot of changes here with the New York Giants. So we can't overlook Micah Parsons. It's the same thing with a guy like J.C. Horn. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Cornerback depth is certainly something that Dave Gettleman has looked at. Secondary depth. He's drafted a lot of secondary players in the last couple of years, and he went out there and he got Adoree Jackson. He got James Bradbury. People say that Dave Gettleman's a relic. He's a dinosaur, but that is a new school way of thinking. A lot of depth in the secondary, and Dave Gettleman probably not adverse to taking J.C. Horn if they really like him there at number 11, and he's sitting there and some of the older players are not there. It wouldn't be my first preference. I really don't want a cornerback. I do think that we are okay there. And like I said, there's definitely other positions I feel like we need more than corner, but I certainly am not going to sit here and scream and yell if they go J.C. Horn or if Pat Surtain falls or 11 and they decided to go that direction. That's not going to bother me one bit. Wide receivers. Never have enough of those. Daniel Jones could use all the weapons that, he can get his hands on. There's no doubt about that. If they want to go Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle to go with Kenny Golladay, who they added in Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, I'm not going to have a problem with that either. The offense would be extremely dangerous with either one of those two wide receivers. I think that they're both going to be very good in the NFL, and I wouldn't have a problem with either one. I know Devontae Smith's size is a question, and I understand that. He's small, but he can bulk up a little bit, man. It's not going to be an issue. These kids are young. They can add 15 pounds of muscle without a problem. That's what these guys do. They have trainers. They have nutritionists. They have all these guys that can add strength to a Devontae Smith. I wouldn't worry so much about his size, man. If there was really that big of a concern for a lot of teams, this guy wouldn't be projected to go that high. I prefer Jalen Waddle myself. I'm definitely more of a Jalen Waddle guy than a Devontae Smith guy, but I'm not going to be upset if they go Devontae Smith in that, at number 11 either. And then, of course, you have the offensive line, Sean Slater. I'm not going to be upset about that either. Listen, Daniel Jones, and I know that there's two ways to look at Daniel Jones. There's the people that say, Daniel Jones has no weapons. Daniel Jones needs help. We got to see what we have in Daniel Jones. We got to build everything we can around him. We got to give him the best offense possible. We got to give him the best weapons to succeed. And I understand that philosophy, without a doubt. Then you have the other guys that say if he's really a good quarterback, he doesn't need all of these weapons. He doesn't need all these receivers. He doesn't need Kyle Pitts. Not that Pitts is going to fall there, but he doesn't need a Pitts. He doesn't need all these weapons if he's really a good quarterback. But what he would need is protection. And there's no doubt about that, man. You saw what happened to Pat Mahomes. Is there a better quarterback in the NFL? No. Is there a better offense in the NFL than the Chiefs? No. You saw what happened when Tampa Bay was able to get pressure on Mahomes. Doesn't matter how good you are, man. If you're getting knocked around, it's hard to complete passes. It's hard to do anything when you have no time in the pocket. And if what happened in that Super Bowl isn't, if that doesn't prove that point, I don't know what will. So, again, man, the Giants have so many different directions that they could go here at number 11. I'm just excited to see exactly what they do, man. The talk is over. It's time to stop talking about it. It's time to stop seeing, Mel Kiper's mock draft 37.2 and Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 41.B and all this other stuff, man. I've seen millions of mock drafts of the Giants. They're all different. And that's why it's a lot of fun. That's why we love hanging out with you guys. Chris and I are going to have that on my channel on Thursday night. It'll be on his channel on Friday and Saturday. We're going to cover all 3 days like we did last year. And, hopefully you guys and girls tune in. And like I said, we'll have a lot of fun, not just with the Giants, but with other teams. There's always a surprise somewhere early in the draft. There's something that's going to happen that we're going to watch that together. We're going to go, oh, I didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? Or what are you doing? Probably going to be the Eagles. We all know that. But we'll talk to Philly 500 about that later tonight. But, that's all I got in this video, guys. Again, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Again, do me a favor. Let me know who you prefer at number 11 because there's so many different options. And, obviously we have a lot of people that join these streams, which Chris and I are very grateful of. And there's been so many different, players that people want. So let me know who you want in the comments section. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Hopefully I see you tonight, like I said, about 10:30 with my man Philly 500. We'll talk about what he thinks the Eagles are going to do, and obviously we'll talk about the Giants, and then we'll get ready for tomorrow night for the first round of the NFL Draft. Until next time, guys, bad diggity dizzle, I'm gone. Peace!